back in, I don't know, May, June, several months ago, I did a video about how I have bent wheels on the Porsche. I talking other things, and then kind of haven't done many videos since. One, it got really, really hot, and I got an air conditioning shop, so I won't be out here too hot. 68 degrees this morning. We're almost cold. I didn't wear a jacket, but it's close. And it was an ongoing issue with getting everything fixed and repaired or right. And that's where the story is. So back in May, my tires, this is what the video was about, was tires. My Michelin Pilot Sport 4P, whatever, the super duper sticky Michelins. My fronts wore down very unevenly and down to no tread left. Did a video about it. And all the alignment stuff followed. Since then, the Michelin all-season tires, which is better for my condition here with the wintertime, super even across the board. So my alignment all worked. But everything else, there's a story to go with why it's been so long since I did more videos about it and about the wheels. So, sorry for the notes, but as my wife says, I can start telling a story and people listen, people like listening, but 6-10 hours later, I'm still telling stories, but I never finished the first one. So I made notes to stay on topic. So I won't be going story to story. Hopefully this won't be a 5-hour video. We'll see how long the battery in my iPhone will last too. All right, got the new tires early May. Car drove pretty good. Not quite as good as the super sticky Michelin's down the highway. Handling wise, I never reached the limit of the Pilot Sport or Sport Pilots, whatever they're called. 4PS, SPS, SP4s, whatever they were. The sticky Michelin summer tires, I never reached the limits of those except in autocross, and I had the front skipping. I've not reached the limits on the all-season tires, so I should have gone all-season tires to begin with. Anyway, a week or two after that, Jennifer had a doctor visit in a town about 80 miles from here, and the options were drive really boring 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, cruise control to another 70-mile-an-hour speed limit and that, or take FM roads, twisty, curvy, hilly, you know which one I took. Well, while going through, only thing the speed limit's 60 or so, but going through the Alcoa land, and that's a whole other story. That's why I have notes. I'm not going to talk about Alcoa land. The old Alcoa land, the old Alcoa coal mine and processing plant, it's another story. But one lane each way, middle of nowhere, subdivisions are going in like crazy out there. We were down to 30 or 40 miles an hour, I don't know. We were bumper to bumper traffic, one way each way, and there was a truck in front of me and a truck behind me, and all of a sudden, there is a 2x4 across my lane of travel. I'm on a bridge. I can't go this way. There's people coming at me, and I have about half a second to react. I hit it. Now, I've hit all kinds of things in vehicles before. I hit it, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I will cycle through the menu on the beast here. Tire pressure, it's all good. We didn't blow a tire. We still weren't nails sticking out of it. That was good. And we rode no more than 60 miles an hour the rest of the way to the doctor's office. And we get there, get out and look, all the tires look okay, we're good. So I pretty much forget about it. After that drive, we didn't drive the car that much. We didn't have places to go. And this is not the best car in full Texas summer to start up, drive 3 miles to town, turn it off, go in the store, come back out, start it up, drive across, run errands is not this car's strength. And I feel like I'm abusing it, so I don't do it for that. So it sits in here nice and protected from the elements until we gotta drive somewhere. Then we're gonna drive the beast. Well, started to know some vibration. Especially from about 52 to 68, I started having Steering wheel shaking, I could feel it in my backside. The car just didn't feel right. Tires are just, less than 100 or less than 200 miles old at that point. Wow, discount tire didn't balance my tires right. Or whatever, the weights came off. So I'm in an appointment with Discount Tire because I got lifetime rotate and balance with them with the tires. And take it over there. And they're like, and of course, going to Discount Tire in a car like this, or the Miata, it's not like everybody else. Everybody else, they make you sit behind the little glass wall or in the waiting room and watch. When you got something like this, everybody wants to come and talk to you. They let you stand out there with your car, and they jack it up on floor jacks instead of on their machines. And we were talking about this and that kind of stuff with this thing here, and they're like, hey, come look at this. I go to the tire bouncer machine, and he starts it up, and the wheel's just wobbling. I was like, you don't have the right collet in there. He goes, I already did it twice. Your wheel's bent. What do you mean my wheel's bent? How'd you bend my wheel? Because I didn't bend your wheels like that when I got here, when you brought it to me. Okay. He tried all of them. All the wheels were bent. Couldn't balance them because the machine says can't be balanced and out of spec. What bent my wheels? Driving the 30 miles home from the Discount Tire, it hit me, the 2x4. So I get home, I tell my wife about it. It's like, well, call the insurance company. We got full coverage on that car. But, okay. So I did. And right away they said, yeah, you're covered. It's a road hazard thing. No problem at all. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Now the price I had in my head and what turned out to be the price are different things. Person I talked to on the phone said, tried looking up a local shop, and apparently their search system on their computers can't figure out where I live and what shops are nearby. So I kept giving them zip codes for Austin or College Station or wherever, and they couldn't find a shop. And they said, all right, no problem. An appraiser is gonna come to you at your house and look at it. I was like, we need to drive it, or I need to have it up in the air so they can spin the wheels because you can't see the damage sitting still. Like, no problem. So I brought in here, put it on jack stands. I got out my dial indicator and I did checks for lateral run out and radial run out. And let's see, I'm probably gonna do another video about run out just on that because that's a whole other story I'm not gonna get into today. I left on jack stands, waiting for the appraiser to call me. It's been 2 to 3 days. I called them on a Wednesday. The next Wednesday, I called back. Well, they should be there. No one contacted me. Anyway, all my wheels were at least 0.050 on the outside edge or the inside edge wobbly. There's that much total movement on each side. And then radial, if you have the tire on here, how much the end of it wobbled. I had at least 0.050 on each tire on that too. Porsche, 0.050 is 1.27 millimeters. Porsche says you can't have more than 1 millimeter radial run out or 0.80 millimeters lateral if you add both sides together. Each side of mine were out of spec. And I got it sitting on one of those bent spots. Can you see that? Yeah, the 2x4 just flattened out part of the wheel. So all my wheels, there's no one up there, were out of spec. I knew that. We just had to get the insurance company to know that. And that's where the story comes in, and me talking about, well, I'll get to it. After, I guess, 2 weeks of that, I called, and the adjuster I talked to said, I'm not sure who told you someone's coming to your house, but we don't do that. You need to take pictures of it and on our app, and it'll submit the pictures of the damage. And she's like, well, do you need a rental car? I said, It'd probably be a good idea, but I have other cars to drive, so I'm not worried about it. That comes back later. I asked, can I take it back to Discount Tire and video the wheels wobbling like crazy and the screen showing? Oh no, can't do that. Can't do that. Has to go to one of the insurance company's shops that they work with. And she actually made an appointment for me to go to one over in College Station. I said, I don't think they do that. How would you know? Because I've been to there before. They don't do wheels and tires. Well, they're one of our shops. They will do it. So I called them up. Sure enough, they said, we don't do wheels and tires. I said, y'all take them to Discount Tire across the street, don't you? She goes, yeah, we do. So I called the insurance back up. I said, I can go back to, you can have them take a Discount Tire. Oh, no, we can't do that. Take pictures, put them on the app. I said, how about I drive it to the headquarters of the insurance company? Because the lady I was talking to was out in Arizona. But the headquarters of the insurance company is in San Antonio, 110 miles away. And I was told, nope, can't do that either. You gotta follow the procedure in the app. Okay. So I did the pictures. And so I did the pictures. She called back to tell me, well, since your tires have air in them, obviously you are never going to qualify for a rental car. So don't even ask for that anymore. I was dealing with stupid people. Once I did the pictures on the app, I got an email saying a check for $97 was issued to me to fix these, to buy new wheels. And I called the adjuster in Arizona up. I said, that's not gonna do anything. She's like, well, I can't help you anymore. Okay. The explanation of benefit thing had the appraiser's phone number. It was out in Hawaii. So I made sure I was calling during daylight hours, and I called out there. Got the guy on the phone, and he says, yeah, someone's got to come look at your wheels, because by the pictures, they look okay. It's like, I know, I've been telling people that for 3 weeks now. I said, can I take a Discount Tire? Nope, cannot take it there. Has to be one of their shops. It's like, you don't have any shops in this area that deal with tires, and the shops that do, take them to Discount Tire. Nope, got to take it somewhere else. I said, how about the Porsche store over in Austin? He's like, perfect, take it there and have them take pictures of it. Okay. So I made an appointment with Porsche Austin, and they charged me $280 to use the exact same Hunter road force balance machine that Discount Tire has. But this time the Porsche Tax was taking a video of it wobbling and the screen saying cannot balance. So they did that, all 4 wheels. Plus they did an inspection of my car. Now the inspection ended up at $19,282.87 to fix all they said was wrong with my car. This is the infamous Porsche Tax. They wanted $529 for an oil change because my little light was on, or the status thing on Porsche says I think 12 or 15,000 miles for oil changes, and I do mine every 5,000 miles. There's another video coming about oil sometime. So I'd done a couple oil changes, and it wasn't up to when Porsche said do an oil change, so I hadn't worried about resetting it. But because the thing was close to the limit of oil change, according to Porsche, the computer, the tech there said, I wrote up, I need an oil change. $610 to replace the horns. This car has a high and a low tone horn. So you get a harmonic instead of E, and my low tone is out. It's been out since I got the car. I've known it all along. And because I've known it, and I bought the exact same horns that Porsche used on my car for $27.50 on Amazon. I did that months ago. But you have to pull the front of the car off. You gotta pull the whole front bumper cover off because the horns are back under here. And I'll do that. I was waiting for cooler weather to do it. But them tell me I need $610 to do that? No. Then they told me it was my TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system sensors in the wheels, the little orange thing there. Or where's this one at? The orange thing there. $1,661.56 to replace those. All four of them. Then the really, really scary part. $2,500 a wheel. Just the wheel. $2,500 per wheel. So $10,000 for wheels. That just boggles the mind. I paid $400 for four 949 Racing 6UL 15-inch wheels for the Miata. They were used, but they're straight and they're good. $400 for a set of four. I got 10 Hummer H2 wheels on my cow dog and the trailers with spares. I paid $300 for a set of 5 that had BF Goodrich all-terrain tires on them, 35-inch tall tires. And I bought another set that had the same kind of tires too, also $300. $2,500 a wheel is just outrageous. That's the Porsche tax. But I knew, I looked up online, I knew it was, for the bent wheel, there's some money involved. And there's a place called Suncoast Porsche Parts on the internet. Just look up Suncoast. They are a Porsche store in Florida. I think they're in the Tampa area. And they have they're a Porsche dealer. They sell their parts online for $24.50. So $50 less a wheel. You get the wheel, the TPMS sensor, a center cap for $24.50. The Porsche store in Austin wanted $2,500 for just the wheel, and another $1,600 for the TPMS sensors installed. The advisor over Porsche said no, they can't buy from other Porsche stores. They got to buy direct from Porsche in Germany. And that's the way it was. I said, okay, this is going to be one of those insurance things. I'm not going to try to haggle with you. Fine. So why not just fix the wheels or straighten them? Porsche says no. Porsche claims that the thickness of the wheel, the rim here, is 2 or 3 millimeters less than what everybody else uses. I've not measured this one and that one or anything else. It feels about the same, but you can't feel a millimeter, at least I can't. My fingers aren't calibrated to feel a millimeter. And supposedly there's not enough material there to allow it to be bent back without putting stress on it so much that it could crack. And you're talking about a car that's rated at 170 whatever miles an hour. That'd be a bad thing to have come apart at 170 miles an hour. So, okay, I can understand that. That's why they say replace only. I guess because it's replace only, they've upped the price so much that, whew. Anyway, once driving home from the Porsche store with the $280 estimate, or the estimate I paid $280 for, I pulled out my OBD2 scanner, plugged it in, and sure enough, my TPMS sensors, they all said less than 1 month to go. They're 96-month or 8-year sensors, and all 4 of them were less than a month to go. It's like, okay. So that was a correct estimate. Now, TPMS.com has the exact same Huff brand sensors for $70 each, plus shipping. So that's $280. They want $1,660. And Discount Tire, for $22 a piece, will take your tire off your car, break it down, put a new sensor in, put it all back on your car again. So for less than $400, I can do it on my own. Not gonna pay Porsche price of $1,660 on that one for the exact same part. It's a Huff, H-U-F. Well, actually, they just changed their name like in the last, since I started this process. It's not Huff anymore, it's something else, but it's the OEM Porsche part. So I'm looking at $1,200 less if I do it myself. But since if you're changing out my wheels, you take the tires off my old wheels. If you're not changing the TPMS, you have to unbolt this, take it off of here, and then put on my new wheel. So I called the Porsche guy up in Austin and said, if I bring you the exact same Porsche parts, will you guys install them when you're swapping out my wheels? And he said, yes, we'll do that. So I did not order from tpms.com. I don't plan on selling this car anytime soon. Who knows? I could change my mind before this video is over. Get all depressed about the Porsche tax. But right now I'm not planning on selling it. So I bought the exact same parts for a little bit more off of FCP Euro, which has a lifetime warranty. So yeah, I paid for them this time, but the next time they go in 8 years from now, or if they go out less than that, all I gotta do is buy the new ones, send in the ones that are on the car now back to FCP Euro, and they'll refund me what I just paid for the new ones. So the next ones are free. I thought that was a pretty good deal. So once I got home from the Porsche store estimate visit, I called my adjuster up. She yelled at me, told me asked what I was doing going to Porsche, who authorized that, how dare I go do things on my own. I told her the appraiser guy in Hawaii said to do it. And she was, well, okay, I guess that's all right. And since the prices were so nutso, I said, can I do the work myself? Because there was also some, the inner fenders in front of the wheels were cracked. They're like $80 each. And maybe 3 minutes of unscrewing to put them back on. That I'm not gonna mention that too much. But I asked, can I do the work myself? Because they're wanting to charge so much. She tore into me again. How dare I think I can do that? I'm not qualified to do that kind of thing. Okay. I said, all right, what happens next? I was told I am not part of the process. Her and the adjuster at the Porsche store will figure things out and it'll be done soon. But I was not part of it. Weeks go by. I would call at least once a week to find her, and she said the holdup was the guy at the Porsche store didn't know how to work the insurance company's app or website or something to submit all the numbers. And I was like, okay, can I call him up? No, don't call him. We got this. Several weeks go by, maybe a month. Finally, out of the blue, I get an email saying there's a check for $987 being issued in my wife's name to the Porsche store in Austin. And no one had contacted me. Once I could see the online explanation, I was like, what the? I started calling people because it was just stupider and stupider. Trying to find somebody who knew anything about cars at my insurance company was just, So I ended up going from my useless adjuster, living in a time zone that's not mine, with really weird hours for her time zone, which make it, there's about an hour a day we could communicate if she was there, and she never answered the phone the first call. To her supervisor, who was in a different time zone with other weird hours, to the guy who authorized the $987 check to Porsche. So again, we're at what? A little over $1,000 paid either to Porsche or me for a $12,000 job. Well, 11,000, I think. It came out to 10 something, but still. Finally got a hold of him. And that took when I was trying to get a hold of them. That was days and weeks per person to move up the chain. When I finally got the guy, he had written that replace my 19-inch wheels, that the insurance company would buy the basically 4 spare Boxster 16-inch wheels to put on my car. And that would work. I got a hold of him and said, you do know my car is a special edition, that I got big brakes on it. I have to have the 19-inch wheels. It's a special edition car. These are actually 997 wheels that Porsche put on a 987, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, no one told me that. I was like, you got the VIN, you could have figured it out. But he said he'd look into things. Now, somewhere in the weeks that this was going on, I reached out to an acquaintance in the military truck world who I knew worked for the same company as my insurance company, but he's on a different business side, not the insurance side. And he gave me an email to the executive branch headquarters for the company. And I wrote a blistering email, 5 or 6 pages of just how many idiots they have working for their company who don't know anything about cars, for sure don't know anything about customer service. And I worded a little bit nicer than that, but not really. So I sent that off. Weeks go by. My calls end up in unanswered emails. Then I get an email out of the blue clear sky saying a check had been issued to me for the remaining balance of the repairs that Porsche estimated. So I called the Porsche service guy. Now I haven't named him because I want to protect the innocent. He was a great, I'm not sure how many hours he spent battling my insurance company's app or website or whatever, or on the phone with them trying to play phone tag with people in different time zones and working weird hours, trying to get things set up for this. But he finally did it. And I'm not named the insurance company because I think there's a couple of smart people still working there. And I don't want to, insult them. So the Porsche guy, he'd already ordered the wheels from Germany. Said it would be a few weeks or more for them to come in. I said, okay. A few weeks, or like a day, after all that was settled, all the checks have been issued, I think it's going to work. The check hadn't been here, you gotten here yet, but I think it's all going to work out. Somebody calls me up in response to my email I sent to the executive people. And that person actually knew about vehicles. He knew that bent wheels don't fit into any of the cookie cutter, fender bender, submit your own appraisal app picture things. And that if they agreed to insure my vehicle, then they agreed to follow the manufacturer's repair guidelines. And that should have been settled in the first few days. Somebody who knew what he was talking about, that's why he's in the executive branch, because he actually is smart. And I told him, if I ever have a claim again with them, first thing I'm gonna do is demand a rental car, because it seemed like everybody I talked to, they always asked, you have a rental? And as soon as I said no, they kind of just calmed down. Well, we'll get to it tomorrow. I'm gonna demand a rental next time. And I told him about the one adjuster saying, well, your tires still hold air, so obviously you can still drive the car. And he's like, you were told that? I said, yes, I was. And anyway, with him, all was well. But he called after everything already got settled. So I ordered my TPMS sensors from SCP Euro once I knew it was all going to get done. We actually went on a cruise, the wheels were still coming in then. And less than a week ago, he calls me up, hey, your wheels are here. All right. So I bounced my way down to Austin with the steering wheel shaking, and they swapped everything out. The car is so smooth. I don't know, was this smooth when I first got it or up until this happened, but it is smooth now. Oh, very smooth. So that whole long story, here's the takeaway. These are low profile tires, small sidewall. And if you got alloy wheels and small sidewalls, these things can bend if you look at them wrong. I've hit all kinds. I've hit stuff with this tire. This is a 205/50 sidewall, but nothing happened with this one. These ones here, smaller sidewall than that. If you have alloy wheels and low profile tires, potholes, curbs, anything in the road can bend it. And you can bend steel wheels too, but you got to really work at that. So yeah, there are businesses out there that straighten wheels. But I think liability-wise, these are going to turn into benches or seats or stools or clocks or something like that. I'm going to use the old one for something, but I'm not sure I want to have them come apart while I'm riding down the highway, especially not on the track. And then there's the liability of it. Porsche says don't fix it. If I fix it and something happens and somebody gets hurt, me or anybody else, then I'm responsible. So I think they're not going to be back on the car. So you have a Porsche, alloy, or all of them got alloy wheels now, with low profile tires, be careful where you're driving. Be careful what you hit. Now, $10,000 for a set of wheels. That just still boggles the mind. I'm glad I had full coverage insurance with the road hazard. If I didn't, I'd probably still be bouncing down the highway. But if you have one of these cars, that's just part of the Porsche tax. Be sure of your insurance company. I've been with these people almost 30 years. I've never had a claim that was my fault before. Now, my wife's totaled 3 vehicles in that time. 3 or 4, maybe 4. And each of those incidences were handled professionally, quickly, beyond my expectation, and more money coming for the value of the vehicles than I expected. It was great. According to my acquaintance in the military truck world who works there, in the 4 years since my wife's last total, they have decided to focus on earnings and not customer service and doing what they do, or had been doing real well. And that fits my experience. I was very disappointed in my insurance company. Very disappointed. And now that it's done, I'm gonna start calling around to see what else is out there, and I'm gonna give them this scenario. If this happens, what do y'all do? And if they come back with, oh, you got the same base thing, I'm gonna move on to the next phone call. Your insurance, check into your insurance, because what was good a few years ago, I think might no longer be good. And if I change, I'll do a video about that. All right, the Porsche tax, it's real, and it is tremendous. $10,000 for a set of wheels. $600 for a horn. $600 for an oil change. $1,600 for TPMS sensors. What I left off was they said my left rear shock absorber was seeping oil. I've looked at it, I can't see it. But they said that $1,700 for one shock absorber. Just crazy prices. Now, while I was waiting in the very comfortable waiting room they have over there, it's really cool. You actually walk down a couple steps to this little area, and they got an angled glass wall, and you're looking down the service area. So you get to see your baby getting worked on. It's really neat. And customer service is great at the Porsche store. But while I was there was a service advisor walked up to a guy who was sitting there, a couple seats over. Said, yeah, you do have a coolant leak. And that the car should stay with them until it's fixed. And the parts are going to take at least a week to come in. And I don't know which vehicle the guy had. I assume it's a coolant leak. And the guy said it's in the valley of the engine, so it's the V6 or the V8. It's not one of these cars, it's flat. So probably a Panamera or a Cayenne, which have plastic coolant pipes in the valley between the water pump and the rest of the engine, and they all crack. But I knew that, I'm not sure this guy did. The guy never asked the cost. Here they're talking about keeping his car for a week and all this kind of stuff. All he says is like, well, can I get a ride home? So maybe the Porsche Tax is not bothered by other people. Maybe I'm just out of touch. I don't know. But that's my story on the Porsche Tax. Insurance companies and bent wheels. Careful where you're driving. If you're going to hit something, I couldn't swerve. And I don't think I could have done a stop without getting run over by the truck behind me. So I did the best I could for my situation. But it would have been nicer if I hadn't done that spot in the first place. Now I'm still going to drive back roads. But anyway, check your insurance. If you got this kind of car, they might treat you like you have that kind of car. You never know. That didn't turn off.